Hey, hi peeps. Hi
Hey,
Kira.
Hello,
Hi
hello.
Fanny. Hi Juan. Hi Benoit.
hello.
Oh no, that's me. Sorry. Oh hi. Hi and hi you who are watching this nerd fest, this geek moment where we swarm around another dev problem of the week. So, who are this bunch of UX unicorn? We are from Pencil and Paper Labs. We're creating practical resources and materials for people looking to level up their UX game. We have articles, we have courses, we have a website, pencilandpaper.io, and we have fun doing it. So, what's the dev problem of this week? Let's activate it. There it is. So, we're investigating filters in a dashboard. So let me share the problem. So here, let's read it. Tal Blizowski, asked the community on UX Stack Exchange on how to add a global filter in a dashboard, which should be relevant for most of the widgets to filter by those three time related, meaning release, sprint, and milestone. Good. So dashboard filter. So what do you think about this? What do you think we should focus on, and what we should not do, what we shouldn't do? Let's talk about this problem
Okay.
first. Yeah.
Can we just read it really quickly here?
Yeah, let's just start by reading it. So we currently
Yeah.
have a dashboard with multiple entities. Each widget has its own filter, including filter by release, sprint, milestone. We are now working on adding a global filter, which is relevant for most of the widgets to filter by those three time related. When I use the global filter in filter by release A, I expect all widgets to be overwritten by release A. But what happens if I now change one or more of the individual widgets to filter by release B? What should be displayed in the global filter? Okay. And then two,
There's
there
no.
are only a few widgets that are not related to release, related to milestone, which might not be related to release. How should those widgets be affected?
Ooh,
All right.
I have to reread that last one, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. We have a dashboard with widgets across
that's
multiple entities.
Yeah. Seems like
Okay.
the question is really about the communication across the interface in these two places. Um,
Oh, I
and maybe
see.
where there are opportunities to, I don't know, communicate better what's happening.
the effect on all the widgets.
Because yeah, and
And the
to me, it makes me ask the question, like, how bossy do we want this global filter to be on the page as well?
Yeah. It seems like it needs to be pretty bossy. At least to get written by the release date. What happens if mentions one more? B. Oh, I see. Okay. Hmm.
and there's also the
Well,
fact that
what
there
do you?
are. Oops,
No, go
No,
on.
go
go
ahead.
ahead, Fanny.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna
There.
say. Oh. You go. You go.
It does look like there's a global filter to apply values and affect all the widgets, and then each widget has the same three filters, which seems like potentially the source of the confusion. So there's that.
Hmm.
There's that.
What do you think about global filter, by the way? What do we think about global filters?
I mean, they just seem like a mass action, like a batch action to me. Uh, that's kind of how I picture a global filter. Just so I don't have to go click every single widget to put it into the view that I want. I can just go and do a batch action and affect all of them.
Yeah, and it can be a handy thing if you also want a certain time period or something to persist over multiple pages.
Hmm.
That's kind of a handy use case. Like if you have multiple data related pages, then it
Hmm.
can, you don't have to necessarily like reset, like do that thing every single time you get to that new page.
Hmm. Right. Exactly. Oh, like if you have, yeah, like you have pagination or something. Is that what you mean?
Well, even if you have, say, I don't know, data related to your projects on one screen and then data related to some kind of, I don't know, releases or something like that on another screen. I'm trying to like do the data thing again. Then you don't necessarily have to, now you get to the releases page, now you got to put it back in and blah, blah, blah. Like you could make it persist if you wanted that behavior. And then you could also like not do that too, depending on how generic that criteria is, I guess.
Good. What we shouldn't do, where we shouldn't go, you know?
Well, we shouldn't try to think about it in terms of a whole bunch of different pages, I would say. Let's stick to this one page and this one interaction.
Great. Anything else? Okay, so I'm giving you a choice. What's your tool you want to use? You have Miro, you have Figma, and you have Whimsical.
Fanny.
We did do Figma last time. I'm curious to see if we could get somewhere more interesting with lower fidelity. Maybe Miro.
Miro, yeah. I vote Miro.
This is great because now everybody that's watching can see me be bad at the design itself as well as the tool we're using.
Okay, let me share you the link.
It's a learning.
Humility is important, isn't it, you guys?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
It's okay to suck.
Yeah.
Make sure you're opening a new tab so I don't, you know.
Oh yes.
Window.
So I shared Miro board. Hi Fanny. Hi Juan. Hi Kira.
Okay,
So there it is.
We're here.
Okay.
I'll start the music, and after a while, you know, I'll see where you are.
All right.
Have fun.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So I'm guessing this is on what happened? Why can't I move my thing? Yeah. So I'm guessing this is on a browser, not a mobile, right?
Let's
Probably. Oops.
Yes. Widgets are just little squares. Oops. Let's see what's going on here.
Oh, do they have any out-of-the-box data components in here?
Well, I think, I don't know.
Negative.
Good question. Negative?
Okay.
Negative.
So there's. You can't hold
really?
Shift to move stuff in a straight
There's a
line.
wireframe there's a wireframe library.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking.
Oh, but they have a like a drop down would be like a filter.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
I'm putting that in. Oops. There we go.
So blue is
This one right
filters. Okay, buddies.
Wait. Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Well, I have a
Got
little drop
global
down. that we can use.
filters. Oh, do you? Oh, nice.
You're too fast. Yeah, I'll remove your blue.
She's fast.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, honey, you're like 20 clicks ahead of me.
Am I?
Yeah. Usually you are. I think you have a gaming mouse. That's my guess.
Literally trackpad.
Actually, you gotta. Fanny has an implant in her brain, and she can just like zap it to the Miro or the Figma or whatever. I'm pretty sure.
She's
That's my
really
theory.
All right, there we go. There's filters there. So each widget has a filter, and then we need like a big filter.
Yeah, each widget is filtered by release, sprint, and milestone.
Right. And then the global filter does the same
Do you
thing.
represent the three?
Because
It's really going to be about like how they communicate together.
Oh, I thought.
Like what happens.
Oh.
Go
I thought
ahead.
it was one filter for each widget, like one drop down, and then you can select release, milestone, or what was the other thing?
Well, maybe it is, but I
sprint.
feel like
Yeah.
for the sake of this work, maybe it's nice to have them all split, visually.
'Cause I think
Visually.
You can do this.
But we're sort of assuming that it's either or, like it's a mutually exclusive thing. You can't filter by a sprint and a milestone, for example.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. that you can only filter by one at a time.
Okay.
Wait,
so-
can we get the? Where's the
Hey, look
question?
over here.
Oh, we have it here.
Yeah.
I think the
Own
important piece of
filter,
this
including
question,
filter by release with milestone.
I think the important thing
Trying to
is
say.
kind of what you were saying, Fanny, where the filters of the individual items are exactly the same as these global filter items.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it
Well, maybe there are more filters,
simpler.
but the problem seems to be those that are repeated. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Because it says each widget has its own filter. To me, it seems like only one filter, but anyways, it doesn't matter. When I use the filter, expect widgets to release. What happens if I now change one of them? So here's a question for you guys. So related to question 1, should when you're using a global filter, can you override the individual ones?
Or should we?
Or
Yeah.
or like, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question. Like,
Mm-hmm. Well,
maybe?
something else here is that global filter. This person says it's going to be relevant for most of the widgets. So already there, they're putting filters on the global level that are not going to be able to affect every single item of the page, which can be confusing because if you think global filter, you're thinking I'm affecting the whole page, and now we're understanding that these kind of time-based filters are only affecting some of them, most of them, but still.
Yeah, for example,
And
if you
then-
had
A widget without a
go
date,
ahead,
and you
Fanny.
apply a filter date. You know, something like that.
Go ahead, Fanny. Sorry, I cut you. Okay.
No, I actually wasn't going anywhere. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I was just thinking if we had any data on here that was like, story time or in the year or something like that, like this year, I don't know, let's just say something like that, then that would be an example of like one of the widgets that doesn't actually it doesn't apply to this widget because the label is different than, like, it couldn't apply to this widget basically.
Should that be, because some of the widgets don't have like a release or whatever milestone, right? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like the filter is
that's
not
it.
actually applicable to like this one, but it would be maybe applicable to some other ones.
Right. Should we show that somehow, like the widgets that are not? That's kind of what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, so I was
when you
showing an
apply-
example of this one, but so have you guys seen cases where you did have a global filter that didn't apply to every widget on the page?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then they're like, so what I was thinking is something like that, where I'm working on right now. So when you apply
Another
a release
section.
global filter, and then there's like an unrelated, there's another word, but I just can't think of it right now on the spot. But essentially, you can kind of group the widgets that don't fit that
So
global
change
filter.
change the hierarchy of the page in this state.
When you apply the global filter,
Right.
because you want to hide the ones that don't. I mean, don't hide, but you want to like separate them, right? If they don't apply visually somehow. Like I would imagine that you want to do that.
Yeah, you need to communicate.
Would
that
you?
somehow?
I feel like it would be really unexpected to have them like move around.
I know. I was
But-
thinking about that too.
Yeah.
I feel
But,
like
you
for
want, like,
time-based filters, you expect them to affect only the charts or widgets that have time dimension to them. Like you wouldn't be surprised that your like widget won't change because you've just edited the date, let's say a date range. But from there to like switch up the order.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm just trying to think like there should be a way to, like the example that I've seen, it did something like this, where it would like actually somehow inform the user like this don't apply to your filter, like it's not applicable because, you know, whatever the case may be. In this case, is because they don't have that sprint or milestone associated with it.
Mm-hmm. What about, so I think maybe our kind of focus of the interaction should be what are some of the behaviors that could happen, and then we can kind of decide what would make the most sense. So one, you've got the page layout changes, and you have a header. It delineates the other things and pulls them away from the other stuff. So I think in terms of like, maybe let's think of a couple different options too, see what makes sense. I was just wondering. Sorry. Go ahead, Manny. Go ahead.
Beginning to be very funny. Something I noticed is that they are adding the global filter. So it seems like in their platform there currently is all of the individual filters. And so maybe we can assume that people will have the reflex to filter each individual widget at first, and maybe like then want to change it at the global level. So maybe then it's about communicating that with feedback after that global interaction, like you're gonna override blah blah blah, or maybe not in a blocker way, but just.
That's interesting too, Fanny, because like it is really nice, I've found in some interfaces where you do something like twice or you do something like 10 times or whatever it is, and it's like, you want to do this the easier way?
Yeah.
So that could be like a night, like if you did it to 2 and you were interacting with a third, for example, it could be like, hey buddy, you can use this global filter option.
Yeah.
I would say, like in general though, what do we think in terms of like, if you apply a global filter? I mean, I would assume that it would just be the kind of mama one, and it would be like, and it would affect the whole page and overwrite all the individual ones that you have, and that you might even lose ability to interact with them individually if the global filter is like dominant on the page.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, usually then you have to clear the filter somehow, right? Then you would have to have something like once you select, to kind of go back to that.
Yeah, so then maybe global filtering is like a mode. Like you're either in global filtering mode, stuff is kind of sort of fixed, and then as soon as you want to see a subselection on another release date, you kind of exit the mode, and then it's clear the distinction. There's that.
Yeah, I like that.
Like you can't miss it kind of thing.
Let me try something.
I was going to put a top bar, Fanny, but I'm really slow.
Let me do it.
Okay.
Oh.
You could have something like
send to back. There you go. So let's say you have oh no, that's not how it's gonna work.
I just put a little header text in here too, Fanny.
How? Okay, let's just go with that. Ew, this is supposed to be a cute little chip, okay? Applied chip with a remove. Oh my god, ew. No, I hate it so much, and I'm quick, so I'm gonna do a real one.
Here, I made something better.
Yeah.
Don't panic. I got you.
Oh wait, what?
Even in low fidelity, you know?
Cute.
Yeah, I just made a button.
Long press to unlock. Oh my god. kidding me?
What happened? Did you lock it?
No,
Oh,
I
did I
unlocked
lock
it
it?
now, but I'm trying to create more
Okay.
space between the label and the X, but it's not working.
Yeah, no, it doesn't do that.
So if we're in this state, let's just do less, like fewer widgets, because it's kind of hard to modify the filter.
Yeah, it's too many.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, let's just do 4. Yeah, good point.
So they would be like disabled.
Got a disabled filter.
Yeah, but I mean, you would see like what it is, right?
You would see the right. Yep, yeah. You would see the right filter being applied,
So I think-
which is not.
Okay, so I'm gonna
this one is
get rid of all
different.
these 3, right? Yeah, no, I'm gonna just delete them, and I'm gonna put this one over here.
Nice.
Over here,
Nice
right?
and simple.
There we go. Ah, no, that's not what I want to do.
Okay.
Come back.
Okay, let me just use my cop-out
Oops.
thing here. I'm just grabbing tooltip. Just kidding.
There we go.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Copy pasting from Figma is, very easy to do. Copy paste something, put it in Figma.
Whoa, for realsies?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
for real. Okay, so we got release A. So what about cards? So what are we gonna do with widgets that don't? We should show that widgets that don't apply, because that's something.
Oh yeah.
That he
Yeah,
mentioned,
Let's do
right?
this. The
Totally,
total one.
yeah.
I'm gonna bring it from the other screen.
So my question for you
Yeah.
guys, like, do you think in certain cases it's so obvious that the widgets would not be applicable to the filter just because of the context that the widgets represent?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this says total stories closed this year. That label doesn't change even if the global filter is applied.
Well,
So-
it would by release though. You could have stories by release or stories by milestones.
I'm assuming that
Well,
this label is staying the same.
Oh, I see.
And it's not it doesn't become applicable or
Oh,
like.
sorry, I didn't see that part. Yeah, I see what
But
you mean.
I mean, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. There's a different filtering thing here, right?
yeah, that was
So,
the
yeah, I
idea.
mean-
Just like make it a
Mhm.
different type of filter.
Yeah, I like that. That is that you can edit it, so you can. It's obvious that is not applicable to the global filter.
And would we, let's say now I exit the global filter mode, do we
Mhm.
assume that the widgets maintain the release A selection, or they kind of all reset? Because it can also act as a bulk action, as you were saying, Juan, where when you exit it, all release A, but then you want to edit just one to release B, or like do some kind of a compare exercise.
I would expect it to behave like what you said. Like if you did the
It
bulk action,
maintains.
it's gonna stay like that. It maintains, because if it doesn't, then that's be annoying. Because otherwise there'll be no way to, unless you do like an apply to all or something like that, which I'm not a fan of.
Which we did last week.
Yeah. Well, that was very specific.
How do we do apply all on literally every dev problem of the week?
No,
It's all connected.
it's all connected.
So I just put a quick tooltip here, you guys.
I like that. Yeah.
That's the best I can do for tooltips. Remove global filter to access widget level filters.
Yeah.
Or clear, maybe I should say. Clear.
Clear.
I'm just moving it around
Well, why
to
don't you-
make it a little.
Hey, why don't you
flaw,
actually
but-
put it on the filter though, as opposed to on the disable, like on the release A filter here, like the tooltip.
I was just good question. Like I usually try to default to make the interaction. Oh, well, that's tough. Communicate.
Yeah, because
communicate the interaction and then execute the interaction. So you would
but the
probably
interaction is
discover
nowhere
it
here, right?
here, but you wouldn't. We don't necessarily have ability to remove within the context of the tooltip.
Mhm.
You know, it's nice when you can make them kind of come together.
No, that's not what I mean. Like what I mean is that I feel like the tooltip would make more sense over here, like next to the, if it was actually pointing at this little thing. You see what I mean?
Mm. Well,
Like
we would
it's,
definitely uncover that in user testing. I think too. I mean, why not both?
Anyways.
Also.
Are you saying that because you
why
don't
not both?
want to design it too much? Or you want to?
No.
Are you lazy? I said no. We'll test that in user testing.
Yeah. That's just I just felt lazy.
Just a way for a designer to say I don't.
No, I'm actually just posting the question because I'm just trying to understand, like, like usually, like to me, it would be like where I can actually make a change to, remove the global filter.
Yeah.
Because here, like, well, where do I do that? That would be my next question. Like, how do I do that?
Yeah, totally.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's a good point for
Just
sure.
a thought.
Like, if we had space, I would say communicating. I also like to communicate stuff up front so people can predict what's about to happen whenever we can. And so this is not really that. Like, you can't really tell people it's gonna happen if they're just using this tiny little widget.
Yeah.
But we can say out loud when global filters are applied. Individual ones aren't available to change or something. Global. Like we could say something like that.
I like that.
Which should be right in your face. What is this, Benoit?
Oh, sorry.
C'est quoi ça? I'm so scared of this.
What feeling is that?
Right
Oh, this looks scary.
Okay. All right. Remove global filters. Yeah.
When global filters are applied,
I like
individual ones aren't doable.
Okay.
So, were you guys saying that like the individual filter on the thing would still be available in this state?
In this particular one, because there is no release filter for this card, right?
It's not affected by the global filter.
It's not affected by the global filter, yeah.
Oh, I like that guy. Okay.
Oops. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. There we go.
Cool.
Sticker or something.
Okay, so I'm going to write down some principles or some rules that we were thinking about. Okay. So, first off, for our solution here that we would test rigorously in the field, we're assuming that basically widgets that don't, I'm just going to say don't count. You guys know what I mean. Won't be affected by global filters. And then we're also thinking, just to kind of wrap up some of it, when global filters are applied, individual ones are not available to change.
So I'm just wondering if like they want to, or the person that posted this problem, they want to be able to change a widget when the global filter is applied.
Well, they're wondering what should happen. What happens now if I change one of the individual widgets?
Well, that's what I mean. So they're expecting
it.
You see what I mean? Like they're expecting that it will happen, and we essentially said you can't do it.
Yeah, we're saying that it's like authority, like that global filter is like the king of the page.
Right.
Yeah, we're kind of avoiding the possibility for confusion because it's like it acts as a bulk action. It's like you do it in steps, like you first do the global filter, and if you really do want to customize your selection, you're going to exit the global filter and then tweak the remaining ones. Instead of being like, okay, what does the global filter show now that they're all filtered by release A except that one? Does the global filter show like the two chips? And then how do you know which is which?
I mean,
Or,
you
like,
could
which
have.
applies
I
to
was
which
thinking, what about this
widget?
idea? If you had something like this, oh, well, it's going to be huge. Not that big, but smaller. And you could essentially unlock that filter if you wanted to control it independently.
But that would bring the same question though. That couldn't exactly work within the like global filter, like a mode switch. You would be in the same page state, and then you would just unlock that one, and then what would the global filter show?
It will still show that, but be applying to everything else that is. So, for example, okay, let me just.
And then you could revert maybe and like reset it to default, like last week.
No, because as soon as you remove the global filter, the lock icon will disappear from all of them because it's not applicable anymore.
Do we need disabled and locked? Like it's kind of a bit of
it would be
redundancy.
another scenario, I think.
Well, I'm just trying to address like the thing that, because from the question to me, the way I read it, it seems like they're assuming that you should be able to change a widget while you're in global filter. So it would be something like this.
I'm not loving it.
That's okay.
Because I understand what you mean. You're like really trying to tackle the question they raised, but I feel like this solution avoids part of the problem of the question, while still allowing the multi-action kind of aspect of global filters.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I read the question, I was just like, this is a thing where you could get into a weird state on your page. You could get into a really confusing scenario, basically. And if you make it really weak, like if you make an action that applies to everything on the page and you make it sort of, not have the clout that it needs, you're going to get into cases where you can make it really weird. So like the QA effort and all of the like craziness that would go along with that is what immediately like hit me when I was reading that thing.
Did you write that down somewhere, that the global filter will change all of those even if you remove the global filter later?
I have it here that the global filter selection persists once you exit the mode. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, we should make a post-it out of it. It's just this blue note. Very tiny.
Oh, okay.
There. Post-it, please.
Okay, I'll get it. I'm on post-it duty. It's the functionality I can really use with confidence. I have to.
And so we're also covering the second question. Because
we are.
They reiterate that some of the widgets are not affected by release, sprint, blah, blah, blah filters. How should those be affected? And then in that mode switch, we clearly see that they are unaffected. You can still filter by whatever their relevant filters are.
Yeah. Okay, so which one is the idea that we're presenting, that we're going to be posting? Is it mode switch idea 2? Does that one capture all the things?
It's a flow. Start off by being at the initial state where nothing else filters are applied, and then you apply a global filter, so you're in the global filter mode. And then if you exit it by like clearing the selection, you are back to your initial view, but everything is filtered by release A. So it's kind of the 3.
Okay.
Good. Can we have a playback sometime? Are you good? Are you sure?
Hold on. So what should this say here? Release A. so we have it. Okay, should we just make a copy of this one? Okay, so in this case,
So what are you doing, Juan?
well, just making the first state look similar to the state, just look-wise.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just gonna remove. So basically, yeah, just because it looks cuter, as you would say.
Oh, you mean like using the blue as just like a header thingy?
Yeah, isn't that like what we're going for?
Yeah,
Or
but
no?
for me, the blue was more like an announcement, almost like a banner, a temporary
Oh,
banner telling you like you're in the global filter mode, like so that you feel that you're in a specific like time blocked view.
Mm.
never mind then. Okay, I didn't get that part.
So I mean,
That's
I
fine.
think too, like in terms of low fidelity as well, we're like, you can access it, and then some razzle dazzle is like, boom, to tell you that you have your mode on, and you cannot
Yes,
miss it. Right? That's the main
yes,
message.
no, that's right.
So the mode switch is dramatic.
Actually, you know, I'm gonna be.
All right, Benoit, do you want to play back?
Yeah, no, not me. So someone who did it actually did it. So you turn on Fanny. It's Fanny's turn.
Okay.
Fanny,
So
can you talk about the problem
explain the whole thing?
first? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Filters in a dashboard. This person is working on adding a global filter mechanism to their, I assume, dashboard, because we're talking about widgets. And most of the widgets are have three time-related filters, and so they wanted to see how the global filters could affect the individual filters and vice versa, and also how would the widgets that don't have these filters, how would they behave? So we were thinking of going in almost like a mode switch direction, so that let's say I'm on the initial state of this dashboard. I have maybe filtered the stuff randomly, like this one's release B, this one is not even a time-based, like a release-based filter, and this one's milestone A. If I entered the global filter at the top, it would be like super clear. I'm kind of in a temporary view where these global filters are applied. And we can see I've applied release A, and now all the ones that can be affected by that filter have taken that filter that applied, that's like, and then if I was, and they are disabled, inactive. And if I try to hover, maybe I could have some explanations telling me you should remove the global filter if you want to edit it like widget at the widget level. And then if I were to clear my global filter selection, I'd be back on my initial view, but then that selection would be persisted throughout the widgets that can be that can be affected by it. Yeah, so we're avoiding the confusion of like if you edit a filter but you do have a global filter selection, does the global filter showcase that? And then that's like all messy. Now it's kind of clean. You've got this specific moment in time where you're doing global filters and you can exit it. And you it's basically being used as a bulk action to like apply a filter to like a bunch of little widgets. Yeah.
In terms of feasibility, what do you think? Is it easy to implement?
I never know what to say when you ask that.
Yeah, I know. Every time you ask a developer how feasible it is, they're like, what? They say something that you never have heard before, and you think that you did something that's feasible, and it's not.
Are we reusing some of the current UI element? I think so, yeah. Dropdown is a dropdown.
Yeah. Same dropdown.
Yeah, we'd be reusing that.
Yeah,
just
it's not
playing with state on the existing stuff that already is, that's already there and has that state.
Okay. And how do we know we're wrong, or how will you make sure it's the right solution?
In real life, in a real project, Benoit?
No, in your dream, or in Mr. Swirl.
And your
Yeah.
dream life?
In my dream, I
No,
would
no, in
telepathically
real life.
connect with all users, and then I would do a download,
Guide
and I
them
would
through
know.
solution.
Oh yeah. But what could we do to make sure it's right?
Like again in real life.
In real life, yeah, in
Like
real life.
in real life. Oh well, I mean we do some user testing. No, I'm kidding. Usability testing.
We're not testing people, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not testing people.
That was great. That was great. We do have a great article about filters also. If I put the link in the comment and pretty much everywhere if you want to look at it. That was fun. Is this the first time we're doing a filter in the dashboards? In dashboards in general?
I've dealt with it a couple times
Yeah.
Yeah, a few times.
and
Yeah.
been very fabulous.
What was the big challenge?
Well, the challenge was the assumption that the global filter was going to persist across the whole entire product. And there were like, a page like this times like 5. And the mapping, I mean, the timeline didn't allow the mapping to happen for us to actually go and figure it out. So it kind of was one of those things that's like, this is a problem and we don't quite know how to fix it, and see you later. So it's very unresolved. So it was actually really nice to like do a solution here. It's like an unresolved dream chore in my mind.
And for everyone, anything we should look for when we're designing dashboard?
Well, like
Any tips?
the way that I've done it, it actually hides the cards that that the filter doesn't apply to. So it was a little bit of shifting things around and then moving them somewhere else or hiding them completely. Like we used to do a thing with like we had like 3 different camera types, and they would take like infrared and night camera, day camera, and then we just wanted to filter out the pictures based on some filters. Or by like camera location, things like that. So we would actually have like a bunch of different filters being applied and just like all the pictures rearranging.
Got it.
And then you have a sort on top of that to sort them by date or whatever. Yeah. So that was happening.
Interesting.
But
Intriguing.
yeah, that would be persistent if you kept the filters on, essentially. That'd be the only way.
Got
But
it.
once you remove the filters, and everything will come back in like whatever sorting option you had selected.
Good. What do you love the most about designing dashboard, Fanny, by the way?
I've kept all my secrets for the article, so people will have to click through.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's good. That's really good. So thank you very much, everyone. So if you do have a problem, please use a comment. We will work on it together, and you can even be part of it. We can, invite you, and we can ask you questions, about, So thank you, everyone, and see you next week or something like that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kirak, and Fanny. See you
Thank you,
soon.
everyone. Bye.
thank you.